welcome to FNN. It is August 2nd, 1798, and I'm Chris Miranda reporting live from Baltimore. Just a few days ago, the Alien and Sedition Acts were signed into law by President John Adams after being passed by Congress. Although President Adams intended to secure the country from foreign invaders, many are deeming these acts to be somewhat controversial and unconstitutional. We now take you live to President John Adams and...
It's a pleasure to have you here, President Adams. How are you?
Just call me John. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm great.
Let's get down to the question at hand. We have heard that you passed the Alien Sedition Act. Can you tell us about the effects these will have on the
Yes,
U.S.?
the Alien Sedition Act were passed with the intention of securing the country so we stay more united. We as a people must trust our government and banish all those who threaten it.
Alright. Do you think this violates any of our rights? Why do you think this makes the people uneasy, John?
For all the people watching, trust the government. We want the best for our people, and for now, this is the best choice to make.
Do you believe these acts are important to ensure the security of the nation as a whole? But how so
With both
exactly?
England and France against us, it's difficult for me as a president not to feel uneasy. I feel that France and England may attack from the inside, return our own men against our nation, and therefore I pass acts that give me authority to expel any dangerous people from our country.
What, in your opinion, constitutes as dangerous? And why is it necessary to deport them?
At the current time, anyone who seems to be against our government is to be considered dangerous. Although I recognize that some may not have bad intentions or be from Europe, we do not have the time to be questioning everyone to determine whether their statements meant no harm, and so anyone who speaks out or publishes anything against the government will be deported. We must stay united. If anyone starts to cause people to question our current government, then the impending argument will cause our people to clash with one another and Europe. We'll not hesitate and take advantage of that attack. Divide, we are weak and vulnerable, therefore we stay united.
Thank you, John, for taking the time to discuss this decision you made. Now back to you, Chris.
We now interrupt your regularly scheduled broadcast with a breaking news alert. It is July 11th, 1804, and in Weehawken, New Jersey, the Hamilton-Burr duel is soon to commence. We now take you live to the scene of the battle.
We are here in Weehawken, New Jersey, and I have the two competitors standing next to me. On my right, I have the great Alexander Hamilton, and on my left, I have his challenger, Aaron Burr. I will first speak with Burr on his beef with Hamilton. So, Aaron, why did you challenge Alexander to a duel?
You mean you don't know? Ever since I started a run for the office of President of the U.S., Hamilton started badmouth me in front of my supporters. He even convinced some voters to drop a blank vote just to make sure I won't win. He's just a sore loser that can't accept the fact that I would win the presidency.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Burr. Now on to Mr. Hamilton himself. So why did you convince voters to not support Aaron Burr in this year's election?
Why shouldn't I? Aaron Burr is the least qualified candidate for the office of president.
What?
You heard me. You couldn't run a country even if you had the brain of a genius.
That's it. Let's get this over with.
It seems that we will get to have a live duel going on. Let us see what unfolds.
3, 2...
Well, there you have it, folks. It seems that the great Aaron Burr is the victor of this duel. So, how did the duel go, Mr. Burr?
Ended as it should have, my good man.
You saw it here first. This was Jose Contreras. Now back to you in the studio.
Hello and welcome to FNN. It is October 2nd, 1806, and I'm Chris Miranda here in Philly. As we all know, a couple years ago, the Louisiana Territory was purchased from Napoleon Bonaparte by our illustrious President Thomas Jefferson. After the purchase, two men, known as Meriwether Lewis and William Clark, were sent on a daring expedition to explore the unknown lands. They have now since returned and are awaiting in St. Louis, where we have Jose Contreras reporting live with an exclusive interview.
The two men who made the entire journey through the Louisiana Territory and back, William Clark and Meriwether Lewis. The entire expedition lasted over 2 years. So, what made you two go forth and discover the newly acquired Louisiana Territory, Mr. Lewis?
Well, the whole thing was set up by none other than our President Thomas Jefferson. He asked us soon after he made the deal with Napoleon Bonaparte to gather some other men and find and discover everything we could about the land beyond the Mississippi River.
And how wild did this journey get?
It was extremely wild, my friend. We encountered many Native American tribes, including the Shashbone, where we would find one of the most important people in our expedition, Sacagawea. She helped us navigate through the land she knows best. She also educated us on the local plants and animals. Some we have never even seen, like the grizzly bear, for example.
I've heard from President Jefferson that you two have collected some important information on the territories west from the Mississippi. Is this correct?
Indeed, many of new species of plants and animals have been found, including many landmarks we have made along the way, one of which is the Yellowstone River, which I hope many people can see in the future.
Thank you, gentlemen. Back to you in the studio.
Hello and welcome to FNN. It is March 26, 1815. I am Chris Miranda here in Philly. As the War of 1812 continues to rage in the South, a treaty elsewhere in Paris has already been signed declaring the end of the war. However, in places such as Louisiana, the war is far from over. We now go live to Louisiana, where reporter Jose Contreras has an exclusive interview with Lieutenant Andrew Jackson, hero of the War of 1812.
We're here at the American Barracks following the Battle of New Orleans. I'm pleased to be here with the General of the Operation, Andrew Jackson. How was the battle, Mr. Jackson?
Well, it was a very tough fight against the British pigs, but in the end, the American people have come out on top to prove to the British that us Americans can hold our own. I'd like for this battle to be remembered by our people as a sign of hope for our new country.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for your wise words. We hope you and your men can come back safely. I'm getting word from the studio that a treaty has been signed not long ago that ended the War of 1812, called the Treaty of Ghent. Therefore, it has made the battle worth nothing. Your word on this matter, Jackson?
So you're saying that this whole battle was worth nothing towards the war?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, okay. So I guess Andrew Jackson is unable to talk right now. Back to you in the studio, Chris.
We now interrupt your regularly scheduled broadcast with some breaking news. Live at this very moment, President James Madison is delivering his Monroe Doctrine to Congress in Washington. But what exactly is this Monroe Doctrine? We now go live to find out.
We're here in Washington, where James Monroe is currently delivering a speech he calls the Monroe Doctrine. In this speech, President Monroe has warned Europe against attacking and attempting to reconquer any newly formed governments in the Americas. Many countries south of the United States have revolted against the European conquering nations, and President James Monroe has just given our full support to these developing countries. Let's see how the public feels about this declaration. Excuse me, sir! What is your name, and how do you feel after hearing the speech that President Monroe has just delivered?
Well, my name is Clarence Fairfield. I fully support President Monroe in his decision. I believe that if we allow these new nations to be reconquered, then Europe will gain too much power and our own nation will be in more danger than we are now.
Do you believe that we have the kind of power to be able to provide aid to all these developing countries? We ourselves as a country are quite newly developed ourselves, don't you agree?
Well, although we aren't as old as the European nations, I believe that in time we will surpass them all in power. And whether the United States has the power to assist all of these countries or not, I know that our president will find a way to make things work because I have full faith in his abilities as a leader.
Alright. Well, I'm sure that we all hope that President Monroe can in fact defend all these countries from the clutches of the European nations, and we all hope to see them grow into independent nations equal to those of Europe. Now back to you, Chris.
We're here in Weehawken, New Jersey, and I have the two competitors standing next to me. On my right, I have the great Alexander Hamilton, and on my left, I have his challenger, Aaron Burr. I will first speak with Burr on his beef with Hamilton. So, Aaron, why did you challenge Alexander to a duel?
You mean you don't know? Ever since I started running for the office of President of the U.S., Hamilton started badmouth me in front of my supporters. He even convinced some voters to drop a blank vote just to make sure I'm not able to win votes. He's just a sore loser that can't accept the fact that I would win the presidency. I want to die.
Here at the American Barracks following the Battle of New Orleans, I am pleased to be here with the General of the operation.
Oh my god.
I'm here with the two men who made this entire journey through the liaison.
At the White House with President Adams to talk about the Alien Sedition Act he recently passed. It is my pleasure to have you here, President Adams. How are you?
Just call me John. It's a Okay, that was.
We are here in Washington, where James Monroe is currently delivering. I can't say delivering. Delivering.
Hey there, and welcome to FNN. Oh, I don't know. I didn't plan.